Welcome everyone, Kelly here from Carcraft Auto Tech. Today we got my truck here and we're going to install a Blackvue dash cam.
Well, let's get started. First, we're going to pull out this little panel and we're going to expose the fuses and see the fuses that we can be using. I'm going to pop this little cover here. I'm going to remove a 10mm bolt there for the lower panel and give this little guy a tug, remove it. The whole panel is clipped in. We're going to go ahead and just grab it and pop it forward. Next, we're going to have to undo the connectors for the various buttons that are on the panel there. That way we have a little bit of room to lower it down and expose the area that we're going to work in. If your vehicle is different, no big deal. You're still going to basically need to be able to access some fuses to make this simple.
Okay, so started taking apart the interior there. You saw I got the cover off, the lower cover there. The reason being we got to get this this guy in. This is the connector for the what is it, Power Magic Pro. Pretty simple. We got a black ground. See, that will focus? Not really. Anyways, black ground, and then we have an accessory wire and a battery power wire. So I'll show you how we're going to hook all these up. One thing that you can use that's going to make this job a lot simpler that does not come in the kit is, I'm going to show you the part number here. This is a little Pico. Let's see if we can get this thing to focus. Does not want to focus. Keeps grabbing me. There we go. There's the part number right there. This is a fuse tap. So yeah, it's a fuse tap. We're going to plug that into the fuse, and then we're going to wire in directly to that. You don't have to use these. You can do it the old-fashioned way and find your wire. But yeah, this is a much simpler process, and it's fused and it's just taken care of. We're just going to splice the wire into there. You know, it comes already with the connector on there. Makes things a lot easier. So now that we got this cover off, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to need to locate which fuses we're going to need. So we need a key on power, so one that the power turns on when we turn the key on, and then we need a continuous power, so something that is powered the whole time the vehicle is not running. So I've gone ahead and chosen two. So the first one we're going to do is the power all the time. Now I see one here called power outlet. That would be the perfect thing to hook into. So you're going to take your test light and just double check and touch on both sides of the fuse. That one signifies power and power. So we've checked both sides of the fuse. We know that one's powered the whole time. So now we're going to go ahead and find something that is key on. So the one I said that would work would be beside it is the ACC. And that means ground, so that is not on. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start the vehicle. Retest. And there we have it. That showed that we have power when the key is on. So those are the two that we're going to choose from. So essentially what we're going to do here is we're going to remove the fuse, put the fuses in and put the wire tap in there, and then hook up the appropriate wire to these two and put them in there, so that'll work perfectly. Okay, so just realized that I made a pretty important mistake. The wire tap that I bought is the wrong type. Of course, most people would know, I don't know if you do or not, there's two sizes of fuses. So we got regular size fuse and mini fuse. Unfortunately, I bought a wire tap for the regular size fuse, and the vehicle is mini fuse. Most newer vehicles are using mini fuses. Just slipped my mind, so that doesn't really matter. We can still go ahead, we can get the camera installed, we can get the line ran and everything done, and we can basically everything that I did before about checking the fuses, we know which ones we're going to use. We've got the panel off, we'll be able to just quickly do that and get it going. I'll just cut in the new footage there for that. All right, so in the truck, we have the cord. Obviously, we need to get the dash cam mounted up on the windshield, and we have to get the cord up along the roof line and down the pillar. So they give you a handful of these little sticky tabs, I guess, so you don't have to run it inside the roof liner. I am not going to do that. I'm going to try and tuck mine in, so you know we don't have to stick those little things on. Right on that part there, we will have to have the wire exposed, obviously, where we're going to plug it into the camera. So let's try to remove this pillar right here. These you have to be careful. On some vehicles, you got if they have side impact airbags. Same with along the roof. So this one right here, move my head here, right here. So there is curtain. I'm not exactly sure where that is, but somewhere in this section there is a curtain airbag. I've seen these right here. They have a one-time clip. So when you remove these, they break, and you don't want to do that. So a lot of the time on those ones, they'll pop forward about half an inch or so. So you can remove them. So you could tuck something in behind there, but you got to be aware. We don't want to involve anything to do with the airbag or mess around with that. So let's just go ahead, pull these, and let's just see what we can see in there. Okay, so luckily this one has nothing to do with the airbag. It just has these little clips. There's one there, one here, and then it just hooks in on the end. We can see right in here, this is where the airbag is. So if we come along this wire right here, we're safe. The airbag is on this side, and we can keep it hidden. And then we'll just try and tuck it, tuck, 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 tuck. I'll see if I'll move the camera around, and we'll tuck it along the roof liner, and then we'll be all right. Here's the camera. This is the lens here. It has this little cover. We can keep that on or off while we're working on it. No big deal. You can see that the sticky tab is here, and this guy is here. So what we want to do is we want to line this up with the center of the windshield. Obviously we'll be able to tell that by the center of the rear view mirror. So make sure you don't line it up to the center of the camera, because you'll be slightly off center. Your picture will be slightly off center. What I'm going to do is we got this 3M sticky tape here. I have a little alcohol cleaning wipe. I'm sure you could use something else, probably Windex, or I'm not really sure. Alcohol seems to work really good. So let's just quickly give that window a clean. We're going to line this thing up to the center, get it stuck onto the window so we know what we're playing with, and then we can start routing that cable and try and tuck it in and keep it as clean as possible, and try and make a nice job of it. So let's go ahead, let's get that done.
This part is pretty straightforward. All I've done is clean the window with an alcohol swab, mounted the camera, got the line mounted, and we're just tucking it in along the roof line. Coming over here to the harness side, I've ran it down the wire and zip tied it to the electrical harness that's already in the vehicle, well away from the airbag. So no worries there. You can see here that the camera is tucked in right behind the mirror. From the driver's view, you don't even see that it's there. Just reinstall this trim securely, get that all mounted back how you had it, and away we go. If it wasn't obvious in the camera there, I quickly drop the wire down that side of the dash, so that way we can access it from underneath and hook it up to our fuses.
Well, it's a couple days later, and we're going to go ahead and finish this off. So I went and got the appropriate fuse taps, so for the smaller mini fuses. So let's go ahead and get this installed. So the normal harness for the dash cam is one of these guys. I'm sure you've all seen one of those. But we have the Power Magic Pro guy. So what it basically allows is to plug this into there, and this little harness goes into the little Power Magic Pro box that clips in there like that. And then we will have 3 connections. We're going to have a chassis ground, so we're going to put that to some exposed metal like the dash frame or something like that underneath the vehicle that has a good grounding to the rest of the vehicle. And then we're going to use these 2 wires for our fuse taps like we showed earlier. We know which 2 we're going to use. So essentially we are going to just crimp these on here, and then we're going to remove the 2 fuses and plug in the fuse tap, and then essentially just tuck all the wires, hide them up, bundle them nicely, zip tie them, tape, do whatever you want. Just make sure they're nice, clean, hidden away, not going to fall on your feet, not rubbing on the steering shaft or rubbing on any metal that's exposed. So let's go ahead, let's kind of get that all buttoned in there. Once you have the wires all secured, go ahead, put the panel back on just like I did. Make sure it's operating before you do anything too permanent or tie everything down. Make sure there's no mistakes, obviously. So the camera is now up and running. I'm not going to go through basically all the setup and all that kind of stuff. There's so many videos on on the functions and the features and how they work. Lots of reviews, probably maybe even better than I can do or whatever it is. So we'll let those guys handle that. Anyways, this is basically the install. So it was really quite simple. Whether you're doing this on Tacoma or not, I mean, this video is basically the same thing. I mean, you need just to hook up those wires. You need to get it in and get it mounted to your vehicle. So that being said, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate you taking the time. Leave me a comment, consider liking the video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.